Hey, so do you have a childhood book, that childhood book when you were a kid? Do you have a book from back when you were a kid that helped shape who you are today? Something that, really got your mind thinking about what you wanted to do with your life and where you wanted to go? I sure did. And I thought we'd chat about that a little bit here today. So, welcome to Goose Pond Hideout. Geese are over there on the pond, and I'm Rob. So, before we get started, it's been about a good week or so, 9 days, I think, since I made a video with you, and I'm going to blame it on the fact that I got hit in the side of the head by a big old giant bug. So I thought I better stay inside for a few days. I'm just kidding. But so anyway, a childhood book. That's so hard to say. Childhood kids book. When I was a kid, there was a book written, and it was actually published in 1959, which, I mean, you think that's like 55, 56 years ago, right? Because this is 25, so 60, yeah, over 55, 30, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 10, 20. Yep, a long time ago. And so it's published in 59, and the book is My Side of the Mountain. And what's kind of one of the things that I find sort of interesting is the author is a woman, a female. And of course, back in the 50s, that was a big deal, a female author, because I mean, women didn't have a lot of rights in things back then. I mean, jeepers creepers, you couldn't even go to the bank and sign for credit or a loan, like to buy a car or anything, until I think it's 74, somewhere around there in the mid 70s here in the United States. So a female author to me is a big deal, and especially the topic of the book, My Side of the Mountain. You may not be familiar with it, so I would highly recommend you check it out. But it's a story about a little boy, and I don't believe in the book they ever actually say how old he is, but the general consensus is that he was 12 years old. So you think about that. A 12-year-old boy living in New York City, in the city, in apartments and all of that. And he goes off into the wilderness, I believe it's the Catskill Mountains, and he lives all by himself, a little 12-year-old boy. Now you may say, oh, gee whiz, Rob, you could never do anything like that. But, we're talking about the 50s. And, I mean, when I was a kid, and I was a child in the 60s, I started high school in the 70s and that, so I became a teenager around 1970 or so. But in the 60s, I mean, when I was a kid, especially like in the summertime, we got up in the morning at daylight and we went outside and we were just gone all day. And the rule was be home by the time the street lights come on, be home before dark. And I mean, that's just what kids did. And I'm talking about kids. We'd get up in the morning, grab a bite to eat, a piece of toast or something like that, go out into the garage and get our bikes, and we would take off and we would be gone literally all day. And our parents didn't, worry about us back in that time. So we did things like, living in trees and building forts and doing all kinds of things. I mean, I remember I was still pretty young, and when we'd go visit the grandparents, it was not uncommon for me to grab the .22 rifle and head out into the farmlands and, plink at tin cans and fence posts and different things. And it was no big deal. That's just what kids did back then. So anyway, the story, My Side of the Mountain, is this 12-year-old boy that leaves New York City, and he lives in a tree, and he forages for his own food, and he's kind of, becomes friends with some animals, and, that type of thing. And that really influenced me you know, with the kind of life that I wanted to live. I wanted to be, I think his name was Sam. Should have done a little research, I guess, but it's kind of raining, and I wanted to run out here and because it has been so long, I wanted to chat with you, and it seemed like a good story to talk about is the book, My Side of the Mountain. And they made it into a movie, but I always think the books are better than the movies because books allow you to use your imagination, where movies kind of have everything already out there for you. But the movies are fun, but the book is definitely better. And you know, it really shaped the kind of person that I wanted to be, being self-sufficient, self-reliant, being on your own, raising, you know, your animals, growing your own food, not reliant on the system, the city, not worried about, you know, where your electricity is coming from. You're going to be able to pay your rent next month. You know, what kind of job do you have to have, and all of those kinds of things. So, you know, is there a book that has influenced your life? And maybe you should pick up My Side of the Mountain. I'm sure you can get it. It's your favorite online retailer. and you know, it's probably an easy read now. And check that out and see, you know, if that can kind of help you guide the choices that you want to be making in your life. Because again, it's all about you having the freedom to choose and be the kind of person that you want to be. And me reading that book really, you know, helped me understand that that's the kind of life I wanted to have. That, you know, I don't necessarily want to go live inside of a hollowed out tree, but, you know, being on my own and being able to survive in the winter time, being able to survive bugs hitting me on the side of the head, and mosquito bites and all those kinds of things, and how to make a fire on my own, and how to raise food. And so, you know, whatever influences you in your life, whatever story that you read as a child, and it's really, you know, stuck in the back of your mind that that's the kind of person I want to be when I grow up. It's just, I hope that's something to think about. So it's kind of a quick little video, me getting back in the habit of sharing my thoughts with you, and in between raindrops. It's actually getting real sunny now. So be thinking about all that. Again, quick short video. Whew, butterfly, yellow butterfly right in front of the camera, I think. So remember, it's all about your freedom. Freedom! Just a quickie.